So here we go again. This new virus that's called the Hantavirus. I'm just gonna keep it a bug with y'all. Because I lived through the last virus situation, and yes, that was the worst thing that ever happened to us as a people. I'm gonna just ask one thing of y'all. This time, can y'all actually use y'all brains this time? Honestly, like actually you think for once. Like actually think this time. Like because like last time, all the clues and signs that they were lying and shit like that were there. They were there. If you put two and two together, it's not that hard to figure out what's not true from what's not true. If that makes sense. No, excuse me. What's true from what's not true. Like, and look, and by no means, it's not, none of this is funny. None of this is a joke. Like, I take this very seriously. But honestly, just from my experience and from what I learned from the last virus that they were trying to get us to believe in and all of that, this is how I survived, pretty much. Or this is how I saw it, right? Whenever they announce, or the media and all the outlets make something out of something and they call it a virus, let's just say that they take all of these public entities take order. So that means your fast food places, where you shop at, what you watch, your TV, obviously everything, your phone, everything is going to be tampered with. Also, this is going to lead me to letting y'all know what occurred during the pandemic that honestly people haven't never really spoke about. They probably never noticed. Human trafficking happened around that time. People driving in like, mystery vans and stuff, like with nothing on it, and they watch out for vehicles that's tinted. There's even videos now, people breaking it down, and like people still showing you bathrooms and stuff like that. But that's another video for another day. But all I'm saying is, tip number one that will work around this time, but it did last time, is turn off your television. Stop watching the news. Stop watching CNN. Stop watching any of that stuff. Do not turn on anything. Turn off TikTok. I know it's addictive for some of you. I know y'all used to it. I know y'all used to being around y'all phones. But turn off TikTok. All right? Turn off Facebook. If by any reason that you feel like you need to wear a mask, or you're told that you have to wear a mask in certain stores, only wear it in the stores, but don't wear it wear it throughout the whole time you're outside, because that's what I did when the last pandemic was going on. So that's as well. Do not eat no fast food. Don't eat nothing that you think could be tampered with. Don't eat any of that. Don't eat no Chinese food. Don't go to any of these big name restaurants that's popular, or any of these 5-star restaurants that you think is so, that you want to go out to. It's going to hurt me to say this, but don't eat no seafood. Just eat your basic home cooked meals. Just stick with that. Stick with canned food. Stick with fruits. Stick with the basics of the basics when you eat it. And eat in moderation. And make sure you get an exceptional amount of rest. And educate yourselves and do research first and foremost, always. And last but not least, do not go into any hospitals. Because even throughout the last pandemic, I didn't go to the hospital at one time. Even when I had to get tested, I went. This was a blessing, but ironically enough, I tried to go to hospitals, and for some reason, they wouldn't let me go in or whatever. I don't know why, but they wouldn't let me go, or they wouldn't let no one really go to do it there, or it was like wasn't available. So I had to go to a church to get a test to see if I had it, COVID or whatever, and tested negative for it. And I knew I was going to test negative for it because the only symptom that I had around that time was when loss of taste, loss of smell. And the really only reason why I got that and why most people probably got that was because usually when all this shit occurs, if you notice, the weather is always iffy and funny. Around that time, when it started, it was the winter time. Notice how it's still cold in May and they starting this bullshit again. So of course our bodies are not going to be normal, reactive to anything because, well, guess what? It's still cold outside. So with that being said, just the reason I say don't go to the hospitals is one thing I learned from the hospitals around that time, around COVID, was that you could go in there for a minor issue. And it's patients that went in there, including my family members, that had different issues with themselves. They already had conditions or had certain health situations beforehand. So you might have diabetes, you might have sinus colds, you might have, a weak organ or something because you got older or whatever. If you were a senior citizen, but what they did with a lot of these patients was they listed them as COVID patients, or as if they had it when they did not have it. Most of them never took the test to see if they had it. Some of them, they will list you as a patient, a COVID or a virus patient, even if you're not. That's not what you came in there for, or to try to check with. Which just leads me to the last thing that I'm going to say before I end this video. Make sure that you guys do not put organ donor on your driver's licenses or any license or registration, because you're basically volunteered and you're basically committing suicide by doing that. Because if once you get put in the hospital, God forbid, let's say once they were to make this virus or whoever, let's just say they were to make it a national emergency like they did with COVID, or even before that, I personally wouldn't go, simply because let's look at it this way. You would be an experiment. You would be a lab rat if you were to go in. They could hold you in there forever. And if you remember correctly, with COVID, they held those people in there when it first started for a minute. And then that's when the numbers started to accumulate. And the reason the numbers start to accumulate, what they don't tell you, is that it's because they hold those patients in there for such a long period of time. Number two, in a lot of those hospitals, there were no security guards. No. Excuse me. There weren't nobody actually coming in and out. So what I'm trying to say is, don't believe everything the TV tells you, anything like that, because all of this is fear mongering. That's all it's ever been. And nothing will put you in the hospital more than stress and fear mongering. So with that being said, stay safe, stay smart. and always be ahead of the curve. Cross round. Peace.